Hi, I'm Isaiah Rand. Today we're going to talk about um, fantasy football and what players you should pick. But first, I'm going to start off with the strength of schedule. Pittsburgh Steelers have the hardest schedule in the NFL this year, according to last year. The let's see, the NBC Sports has Philadelphia last. Tampa Bay is 31st, so Tom Brady's gonna have an easy schedule, according to this. Um, the Bills are 23rd. I want to note that as well. Chiefs 20th, Titans 19th. Cardinals and Chargers are 17th and 18th. Seahawks 16th. Browns 9th. Vikings 6th. Bears Ravens 2nd and 3rd. Raiders are 7th and Packers are 8th. Now, that means a little bit. Well, let me go look at these stats. And quarterback-wise, there's a lot of good quarterback options that you should consider. But I think if you have the first pick in the draft, there's really only two quarterbacks you should consider. And I think that's Josh Allen and Tom Brady. The 23rd ranked scheduled for the Bills and the 31st for Tom Brady. Brady had 40 touchdowns last year. That's pretty awesome. And, honestly, Josh Allen wasn't much farther behind. 37 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. So, that's the thing. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers had a hell of a season. 48 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But he has a much harder schedule this year. And it's very possible he can repeat it. It's really up to you if you want to pick him. Davante Adams had a hell of a season. 18 touchdowns. And he had over 1,000 yards. So they definitely had a lot of talent. And they had a great season. And it's very possible he can do it again. Mahomes is a safe bet. But like I said, in my opinion, I would go with Allen or Brady if I was going to pick quarterback. And it doesn't mean you have to. You may not even have those options. There's tons of good options. Justin Herbert would be probably my third choice. I think he's gonna do even better this year. Or Mahomes would be the third choice, and then Herbert fourth choice. But Mahomes is gonna be off the board before Herbert. Joe Burrow could be a good possibility. Russell Wilson, he had 40 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. A guy that I really like, Ryan Tannehill, 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He would be a guy that if you don't want to draft a quarterback early and that's not your main priority, he might still be on the board for a while. He's underrated. I don't know how underrated he's going to be in draft boards, but he has Julio Jones, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown. That's insane. And he had 33 and 7 last year without Julio Jones. He could probably get 40 touchdowns or more this year, or a little over it. It's very possible. He could also do about the same or way less, but I think he's going to do way better. Julio Jones is an amazing receiver, and it's going to be crazy how teams try to defend that team. A lot of times they're going to be a very good team next year or this season. There are a few options. Derek Carr, 27 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. He wouldn't be a bad option. Kirk Cousins did have 35 touchdowns and 13 interceptions, so it's possible you could even pick Kirk Cousins. A lot of people not probably the highest on him. Matthew Stafford, 26 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He had 4,000 yards. So there's tons of guys you can pick. Even Jared Goff probably be one of the last options. Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield, Ben Roethlisberger. Dak Prescott would be a good choice. And then there's Lamar and Kyler Murray. So all good players, all possible options. Just looking for Lamar and Kyler Murray, it's a really close shot. But with the Ravens having a harder schedule, I'd lean with Kyler Murray over Lamar. We go to wide receivers. And there's a lot of talent at wide receiver. First and foremost, Tyreek Hill is going to be one of your top wide receivers to target. So DeAndre Hopkins had 1,400 yards and 6 touchdowns last year. Calvin Ridley, on the other hand, had 9 touchdowns, 1,374 yards. Diggs had 15,035 yards and 8 touchdowns. So when you're talking about all these guys, and Devontae Adams, 18 touchdowns, 1,374. I mean, I like Diggs and Ridley, I think, for my top 2 wide receivers this year. And another one, man, I forgot. Mike Evans. You can't leave Mike Evans out. I think those would be my 3 top guys that I would try to target the most. And still Chris Godwin for wide receiver or running back. Adam Thielen and Justin Jefferson, I forgot. Those guys, amazing too. Thielen had 14 touchdowns, 925 yards last year. Jefferson had 7 touchdowns, 1,400 yards. These are all guys you want to target. Waddle and Devontae Smith could be very good rookies that you can draft late if you want to try to make a good guess, and it could work out really well, possibly. Especially, or if you have trouble, maybe if they're on the waiver at some point and they're not having the breakout season yet. On promise, there's probably going to be a breakout, and you could go for it maybe. But I would definitely put Justin Jefferson or Adam Thielen on my team if they're still available. I guess I'm a little biased. I really like Justin Jefferson, but I think he'd be he'd be my first wide receiver I'd take off the board. And I would take, it just depends on who's available. If Mike Evans is available, or if I can get Justin Jefferson later, and maybe get Calvin Ridley first. It just depends. It's really a hard one with wide receivers. DK Metcalf, man, he's probably only going to have a better season. I guess really you want to go after Hill, probably. If you go off statistics, you want to go off Hill. But I really like Justin Jefferson. Allen Robinson had 6 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett had 10, 1,000 yards. Brandon Ayuk could have a better year for San Francisco. He had 748 yards and 5 touchdowns last year. He's really young. Chase Claypool had 9 touchdowns, 873 yards. Juju had 9 touchdowns, 831 yards. T. Higgins, his rookie year, he had 6 touchdowns, 908 yards. That's mostly without Joe Burrow, so that's pretty awesome. Will Fuller had 8 touchdowns and 171 yards for Houston. They're all guys to target. Deontay Johnson, 7 touchdowns, 123 yards. And that's mostly without Ben Roethlisberger. Now, running back wise, that's an easy pick. If he's there, or if it's your top priority, and this is honestly the position that I would pick first if I was on the board, I'd pick Derrick Henry. It's the number one. That's the number one guy right there. Derrick Henry, number one running back. And then Nick Chubb, he's going to be gone. Devin Cook's going to be gone at that point. Aaron Jones is probably going to be gone. Maybe get Jonathan Taylor or James Robinson, hopefully, or Alvin Kamara, Antonio Gibson, or Josh Jacobs. Get one of those guys. All had a lot of good stats. Or, I think it's a steal. I agree with I think it was a Baltimore Post that shared it. J.K. Dobbins, I think, is going to have a breakout year. He just got better as the year went on. I'd like to have him on my team. I think Najee Harris could even be a good rookie for like a wide receiver running back. Damian Harris will be a good guess to go on, or a good try to go find that guy that could possibly end up being the breakout guy. He averaged over 5 yards a carry. Tight end is George Kittle or Travis Kelce. Personally, I'm going to go with Kelce. And then if you can't get them, it's Waller or Gronkowski or Logan Thomas. And then there's Robert Tonyan. He had a great year. You could go to Robert Tonyan, but I really like Logan Thomas and Rob Gronkowski. And then if there's a guy you want to put on your bench, maybe let's see what happens as the season goes on and see if you can start him eventually. Kyle Pitts, man, tight end Atlanta. He's amazing. He's going to be a really good player. Kickers, Harrison Butker and Justin Tucker. Those guys are really good. But personally, I'm going to go for Younghoe Koo or Ryan Suckup. I think Ryan Suckup's going to be kicking a lot of extra points this year. But I would go for one of the two, and then I would go for Butker or Tucker if you don't have either one of those options. And if those are gone, you have Bagley and Lutz and Mason Crosby. All good kickers. Brandon McManus is also a possibility, and Chris Boswell. Those are all guys you could definitely target. And then finally, defense. According to SportingNews.com, here's what they rank the top tier defenses. Baltimore Ravens number 1, Buccaneers 2, Steelers 3, Patriots 4, Los Angeles Rams 5. I would go as much to say the Buccaneers are number 1, honestly. But this is a close call. I pretty much agree with that. With their ranking, I like it. But you get any of these 5, I think you're going to do pretty good. I also really like Washington. They have them at 7. I might honestly have had them up higher, really. I really like the Washington football team's defense. The Bills. There's a lot of good ones. The Chiefs and the Saints. 49ers are at 12. Browns at 15. The Seahawks at 17. And Titans at 18. I could see you going for any of those, and then that's it. Those are all the good defenses you'd want to go after. You really want to go for the top 10 mostly. Maybe take a guess on one of those other ones, because defense is probably not your top priority at all. There's a lot of other priorities that probably trump that. It just depends on how you do your drafting order. But I hope I helped you. I really hope I'm right, and I hope I can give you some positive insight. Please like, share, comment on my video, and subscribe. I need all the help I can get. I really love it. I love making these videos. I'm sorry it's been a while. I'm going to put some more out. I hope you enjoy this. Have a great night.